Welcome everybody to this webinar. This is Alice Piccioni, Office Manager of the China-Italy Chamber of Commerce in Chongqing, and I will be the moderator of this webinar. Today's topic is why invest in Chongqing, bringing also the example and the experience of AnsaldoBreda joint venture. But before we start, I briefly introduce you the EU SME Center. That is a European-funded project that helps the small and medium enterprises to do business in China by providing a comprehensive range of information, advices, trainings, and other supporting services. The center is implemented by 6 partners, and the China-Italy Chamber of Commerce is one of them. And we're organizing today this webinar. Talking about the China-Italy Chamber of Commerce was founded in 1991 in Beijing, and so far we have 5 offices in mainland China, around 600 members in various sectors, and we are the only private Italian association recognized by the Chinese and Italian governments. So, let me introduce the speaker of today, Mr. Ermanno Vitali, currently General Manager at Chongqing AnsaldoBreda JV company, responsible for the strategic, leadership and management. I would like to hand over to Ermanno now.
Welcome everybody to the webinar. I would like to start my presentation with, first of all, telling you that the presentation aim is not to convince at the end of the webinar to convince you to invest in Chongqing, but of course is to let you have more information, give you more detail in order to better understand if and why you should invest in this city, in this big city. So my presentation will be divided into 2 main areas. The first is speaking about what is a joint venture. So we will discuss a little bit about what are the difference between 2 kinds of joint venture, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a joint venture. In the second part, I will discuss more in detail about the city of Chongqing with the help of Alice, and we'll give you some information about our experience of our joint venture here with a local Chinese partner. So, okay, first of all, let's start with the first point. What is a joint venture? By dictionary definition, a joint venture is a business or a project in which 2 or more companies or individuals have invested with the intention of working together. So there is already the first important things to underline, that is working together. So and this will be a topic that I would like to discuss more in detail later, because there are a lot of issues relating to this fact. This type of partnership basically allows each participating company to scale its resources, so also to complete a specific project or a goal, no? That the partners decide together, while reducing the total cost. So this is also a very important point, reducing the total cost. It's different if you invest by yourself or if you invest with a partner. And of course, the last point that I wrote on the slide is spreading out the risk, and also of course the liabilities inherent to this risk. So the same concern about the cost. If you share the risk with a partner, of course you will have less risk. Anyway, although there are advantages, of course, to set up a joint venture, surely we cannot forget that companies that are going to enter in this kind of partnership face, of course, several disadvantages as well. And these also we will discuss later, and we will try to underline what is the pro and the cons of a joint venture.
Thank you, Armando. Now let's go over and let's talk in more details about the different types of joint ventures.
Yes, okay, thank you, Alice. In fact, it's very important to understand also that there are different types of joint venture. And in this webinar, I will try to introduce the two main type of joint venture, the equity joint venture and the cooperative joint venture. First of all, I would like to thank, by the way, our lawyer partner and consultant, Andrea and Partners offices, for helping me providing these informations in this part of the presentation, where I will give here a general outlook of these two types of joint venture, and I take advantage of these topics to strongly suggest that when and in case you are going to invest in China in a joint venture, you have to choose a reliable lawyer partner, because laws and regulations in China are changing very fast. So it's also possible that what we are saying today, they maybe not be true again in a short future, in short months, or maybe it's true in Chongqing, but it's different in other cities. So what is an equity joint venture? An equity joint venture is a capital company that whose business object is related to production, to commercial or service activities. It's very important to underline that the Chinese partner have to be represented by a legal person, and this kind of joint venture structure is required by law for certain types of investment. By the way, for this issue, you have to refer to the catalog for the guidance of foreign investment industries, where you will find exactly which kind of businesses required by law to invest in a joint venture. The regime of this kind of company is a limited liability, and the profits and losses are divided pro rata, so it means on the basis of the share capital of the individual shareholders. A brief information on the constitution procedure. So the request for the approval of this joint venture, of the equity joint venture, must be done by the MOFCOM. So it's the Ministry of Commerce in China. While the business license release is released by the AIC, so the Administration for Industry and Commerce. That is basically the government body responsible for the managing the registration of companies in China. The main organs of the equity joint venture are, of course, the board of directors, that consists of at least 3 directors, and it is the most important body of the joint venture. Usually, there is one mandate for 3 years that is renewable at the end of it. There is also an important figure that is present usually in the board of directors, that is the supervisor. The supervisor is a figure similar to a member of the trade union. And its purpose is basically to check that the decisions of the board are in line with all laws and regulations, local laws and regulations. Okay, let's go slide to see to give you a brief introduction of the other type of joint venture, the cooperative joint venture. The cooperative joint venture has a better contractual autonomy rather than the equity joint venture. Basically, the main difference are that the social rights and duties in this part is the same, but the distribution of profit and losses are different. Why are they different? Because as the same way of the distribution of the board of directors. So it means that it's not longer related to the share of paid in capital, like the equity joint venture, but it's directly established in the constitution of the joint venture. The cooperative joint venture has also a limited liability company regime, so it's basically the same like the equity joint venture, but an important difference is that there are no minimum limits on the share of the capital paid by the foreign party, so there is no any minimum limit, and this is very important. There is no a minimum length of the company or for the life of the company established by the law. Instead, in the equity joint venture, there is a minimum length. So this kind of joint venture is also called contractual joint venture. It means that it's more, how to say, is a more easy, let's say in a poor word, is more simple kind of structured company.
So AnsaldoBreda is an equity joint venture, right?
Yes, exactly. It's an equity joint venture, and because we are in the business of railways, that is a protected kind of investment in China, we are forced to invest a minimum capital. At the end, the party decided, and the maximum as well, so we cannot have more than 50%. And the parties decide to have a 50-50 shares of the joint venture.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you. Go in more detail about what really means to have a Chinese partner in a joint venture. What are the advantages and gray areas?
Yes, exactly. As I said before, when you decide to invest in a joint venture in China, you have to consider both sides of advantages and disadvantages. The main advantages for sure are the fact that provides to both companies the opportunity to gain new capacity and a greater and a new expertise, of course, because you both can use the partner abilities, skills. Allow companies to enter a business or a new geographic markets, and of course gain a new technological know-how. This is quite logical, these kind of advantages, or give you a greater resource or specialized staff and technology. You will share for sure the risks, as we said before, in the way that also we can say that the joint ventures can be, let's say, flexible. For example, you can say that the joint venture can have a limited lifespan or cover only a part of what you want to do, thus limiting both of the commitment and the business exposure of your company. Also, you can say that when a company is in a moment or in an era of divestiture and consolidation, the joint venture the joint venture company can offer a creative way to exit for a non-core business, because you can decide to, for example, to sell your shares to the other parent company. And by the way, when we speak about this last point, it's proved that roughly 80% actually of the joint venture, especially in China, ends in a sale by one partner to the other. And the reasons are, of course, basically the difficulties of the integration of the two parties. Or, okay, also, as we said before, the decision of one partner to don't follow anymore this business, so it's not anymore your core business, so you sell to the other partner. Let's speak a little bit about the disadvantages. Of course, when you set up a joint venture, there is I didn't mention here actually, but it's quite important also to say that the objective of the joint venture are often not 100% clear and communicated to everyone involved. So this can lead to the partners to start having difficulties. Often, I remember there is a Chinese saying that I used to tell to my colleagues, that it's like to sleep in the same bed but having different dreams. So, and this is often what it happens in a joint venture, sleeping in the same bed but having different dreams. And this it will lead to to an imbalance also of the expertise or investment or assets of the two partners, because also the different cultures and management style can result in a poor integration. Another difficulty is that the fact that the partners usually don't provide enough leadership and support in the early stages. And this is probably what I think is the most important, actually, the last but not the least. The success in a joint venture depends on an accurate research and analysis of objectives. So if in the early stage the partners work hard and define well what is your target, what is your goal, what is your objective, clearly define what is your each side activity and commitment, I'm pretty confident to say that the joint venture can lead to a successful goal.
Thank you, Armando. So going ahead with the presentation, let's talk about the city of Chongqing. Maybe for many of you, it's the first time that you ever listened to this name city. So we want to show you some facts and figures and some picture about the city.
Yes, thank you, Alice. In fact, Chongqing is not a so well-known city in Europe, and when I tell to my friends that in Italy that I live and work in Chongqing, they say, where is Chongqing? They never heard before. And then I told them that it's a big city, one of the biggest cities of China, and there is more than 30 million inhabitants. So they are shocked, yes, about this fact. We have put together with you, so thanks also for your help, some facts and numbers of the Chongqing economic overview. So you can also actually read by yourself. What I would like to underline here is that from 2010, Chongqing had a crazy and impressive development. I remember very well, actually, just a personal story, that I was here maybe the first time in 2007. So after 10 years, Chongqing has changed dramatically. It's a much better city also for living. And I would like to underline also the fact that nowadays there are most of all the consulates between Chongqing but also Chengdu, that is a close city, and in Chongqing we have the Italian consulate. That is very useful for an Italian company, for bureaucracy, for any kind of documents. There is also the Italian Chamber of Commerce, that it's a great support for us when we need any business and economic information or support. So thanks Alice also for your support and help to us. The last point that I would like to introduce is the relative low cost of labor, manpower, in Chongqing compared to other big cities like Shanghai or Beijing, and also a lower cost of living. And so due to the fact that I'm living here with my wife and my families, I can tell you that living here compared to Shanghai or Beijing is much better and affordable. So I think these 3 points are very good advantages of Chongqing. But I think you can also introduce and add some information and some points.
Yeah, as we can see from the charts, for example, one of the main pieces of Chongqing is has to be a logistic hub. So also thanks to the railway connection to Europe from Chongqing to Duisburg, that is really in 15 days it's possible to move goods from one side to the other, and that's really is boosting the logistic business of the city together with Chengdu as well. And also we're talking with Hermano that also the university here is really giving an important contribution, because there are already many partnerships also with some Italian university and also some expat university, and many talents are attracted in the city thanks to many scholarships. So also maybe for you, Hermano, it's easy, maybe it can be easier here to find Chinese and younger expat talents, because university is quite well known and good.
Yes, I just confirm that it's very important, the fact that we can have the possibilities to find a skilled person coming from universities, and the fact that the Chongqing University is one of also the most famous in China is very important.
This of course was just like a brief introduction of the city. Now let's go back to the and let's hear more about the AnsaldoBreda experience.
Okay, yes, I will I will give you a brief introduction of our experience here in Chongqing, starting from this picture that shows the signature ceremony of the official joint venture constitution between Chinese, the local state-owned company that is in partnership with AnsaldoBreda. This ceremony was held on March 2013, so already 4 years ago. This one is a picture of one of our train in Chongqing Metro line 6 exactly, and we are basically managing one of the Chongqing line, the underground line, and what we do is actually not all the train, but this is the picture of what we do, basically the traction system, electric traction system of the train. So the first picture that you see, I'm sorry, it's in Chinese, and I will translate it later. Or anyway, I'm going to tell you what does it mean. The VVVF stands for the traction inverter. So it's the main part of the electrical traction system. It provides the energy, basically, that come from the grid for the optimal tractive effort of the train. So let's say is the heart of the train. The HV box stands for high voltage box, is the system to protect the electrical circuit of the train from any damage that can be caused by the excess of current. We are producing and install on the train also the APS, that stands for the auxiliary power supply, that basically provide the electricity to all other equipments of the train, for example, air conditioning or lighting. And last but not least, the TCMS. TCMS is the train control and management monitoring system, is the monitoring system and diagnosis system of the train. So let's say before we had the heart of the train, and this is the brain. So, and why, let's say add something here, why the Chinese partner set up a joint venture with Ansaldo? Because Ansaldo give to Chinese partner this very important know-how. The brain, the heart of the train, the Chinese partner before they don't have. So now they are partnering and learning how to also set up and produce this kind of equipment. I also can tell you and briefly introduce the history of the joint venture. It's important to understand how a really joint venture works. The agreement in the field of the electric traction control system was signed actually in 2008. So as you can see, it's already 9 years, because the process of the joint venture is quite long. You will not for sure, you cannot say set up and make everything in a few months. Then in 2009 was established the consortium that won the construction for line 1, that then became line 6 actually. In 2013, as you saw the picture, was signed, so established the joint venture agreement, and in 2014 we received the business license. So between each step, of course, there are you will need to spend some time waiting for sure reply and the answer from the Chinese government. I also would like to tell you a little bit, very short introduction of the market where we work. Data from 2014, the total China's rail network was already more than 110,000 kilometers, ranked as the second largest rail network in the world. There are 38 cities in China that are that already has a urban mass transit system, and 22 cities where there is a well-established mass transit system. So it means underground and metro, for a total length of almost 3,000 kilometers. When you decide to set up a joint venture, as we said before, you have to really carefully understand what is the analysis of also the competitors. So our main competitor are state-owned company, and the biggest Chinese state-owned company is now CRCC. That it's a merge that the company was set up by a merge between China North Railways and China South Railways. What the Chinese government are doing, of course, is has been giving a considerable policy support to state-owned national champions, in the field of the railways equipment to encourage them and enter later in the international market. Another point of analysis of setting up a joint venture is understand the laws and regulations. So for sure you have to understand if and where there are restrictions. In our, by the way, just speaking about our experience, the China's railway manufacturing sector face a very strict regulatory restrictions if you want to participate in the domestic railway market. The bidding process is only open from local enterprises or joint ventures, and basically there is no opportunity to comment on drafts of standards and specifications. This is a very how to say, disadvantages, because of course the local competitor, the Chinese competitors are how to say, are supported by the government, so they are in a point of advantage when you compete with them. Okay, so basically I don't want to annoy you with too many information. I would like briefly summarize what we have said until now, listing what is the opportunity and the other side of the opportunity, so what is the challenges of setting up a joint venture. So the opportunity is, as we said before, for example, find new capacity and expertise. But of course, what you have to face when you look for new expertise or new different know-how, it's also you have to be careful about the intellectual property right. So it's quite, I would say, it's quite common to hear that local Chinese companies stole and use property, yes, know-how of the partners to, for example, set up a new company and then compete and make competition to the previous partner. We said that it's the opportunity to share risks, but of course, on the other side, you have to consider the difficulties of different management system, different culture, different background. We said that one opportunity is to enter new market, but also I would say that when you enter a new market with a joint venture, through a joint venture, you have to be careful of how the partnership decide to promote your brand. So what is the brand positioning? Because the control of the marketing activities, of the strategies are not so easy as you do by yourself. Last, the access to greater resource. This is true, but also you have to make sure that you are sharing the same strategies. So make sure that the two partners decide to reach the same goal. This is a brief summarize of the advantages and disadvantages.
Thank you. So before we move to the final conclusions, we collect one question. So in a joint venture company, it is hard to manage the relationship with the Chinese colleagues. For instance, the organization of the everyday task, human resources in one company where, as you said, there are two sides sharing the same decisional power, basically.
Yes, thank you, Alice, for these questions, because in my opinion is one of the for sure more difficult tasks of managing a joint venture. I'm having this great opportunity to work here in AnsaldoBreda, and for sure what I daily have to deal with is balance the different point of view of the two partners, and only in this way you can really go on and solve even simple or daily operation things. So most of the times there are not a very good agreement between the two parties, and what my job and what my target is to help each other to find an equilibrium.
To moderate.
Basically. Yes, exactly. To moderate and go on, because and I give you a very short fact, anecdote of our experience. We were actually forced to stop our work, our joint venture here, our operations, because in fact there were in the last 2 years before that I came here a lot of misunderstanding on what has to be done daily on the daily operation. So and this was the worst situation, because the client, our most important client, the Chongqing Metro, lose the reliability, lose the faith on this joint venture. So it's not so important basically what is the way to reach the target, but it's important to find, I repeat, but I think it's the right word, to find the equilibrium between the two parties.
Okay, thank you, Armando. So if you want to go ahead with your conclusions.
Yes, okay. Last slides of this seminar. Why Chongqing? Of course, I think Chongqing is a very fast-growing city. As we said, there is a relative labor cost, so relative labor cost of living, good facilities for everything. So I think Chongqing nowadays is one of the best city where invest in Chongqing. Why joint venture? A joint venture, as we said, in our specific case, we were forced, and there is the only way to do it. So there is no other opportunity, and the advantages of setting up a joint venture we already described quite long before. So I think one of the main point anyway is sharing the risk between the two companies. I think this is one of very important points. Last personal consideration that I want to give to the audience, and it's just one. Actually, I had the opportunity to work previously on a WOFI, so on a wholly foreign-owned enterprise. It means 100% investment by a foreign company, and now I'm working in a joint venture. So I basically had the opportunity to see the differences. So my personal last consideration and suggestions is if your investment in China actually is not required by the Chinese law to be in a form of joint venture, actually what I would suggest is to choose a direct investment, so use a WOFI. This because you have the possibility to control much more in deep and with much more control by yourself all the activities. But of course, this depends on the structure of your company, on also on the structure of the company, of the strategy, of the policy, of the philosophy of your company. So it's not a rules, but of course you have to consider many other factors.
Okay, thank you once again, Armando, for your contribution today and for giving us a view of what is the Chongqing environment, opportunities and difficulties for the business. For further information, it's possible to contact directly Armando using the email available on the PPT. And thank you all for watching and have a nice day.
Thank you everybody. Thank you, Alicia.